Good morning. Happy Thursday, PASW staff, clients, and friends joining us. Your results are in for Bosch. Great work. It's looking really, really good. This is the Kata Ghost, the song from Kata Ghost, and it's Can't Let Go. So it's been cool pairing your guys' submissions up with the visuals, because we'll see that tomorrow. So proud of you guys for that. Today, nothing like Bosch. I really wanted to go back and look at more musicals, because last week we did Damn Yankees, and that was so much fun to share. This week we're going to revisit one of my favorites, and a very brilliant. I mean, this guy wrote lyrics and music, and it's so singable. All the songs. That's how he came up with that secret. So we're gonna revisit and look at the great Lionel Bart's Oliver. Let's talk about Oliver. Let's talk about the conception, and really the genius behind Oliver was the composer and lyricist Lionel Bart. Lionel Bart's an interesting person. He really this whole musical came about because of his vision. Like I said, he wrote all the songs, he wrote all the lyrics. He adapted it from of course, Charles Dickens' novel that came out in 1838. So a little background on Lionel Bart. He was the youngest of 11 children, and born outside of London. It said he was a prodigy when he was 5 or 6 and tried to have music lessons, but he never learned ever to read music. And so he was kind of what we call a hummer. He would hum songs into a tape recorder, or dictate his melodies in his head to somebody at the piano. Pretty amazing to write Oliver, and he wrote several other musicals too. None were as successful, but pretty amazing to, if you imagine, just sit back and think, okay, I don't know how to read music, but I have an idea for a whole musical in my head. And, you'd say, oh, yeah, sure, of course you do. And I think that's what people said at first, and then he conceptualized the entire thing. Pretty cool. He starts writing Oliver in 1959, and nobody wants to do it. It gets turned down over a dozen times. Finally, he gets a theater to put it on. And they put it on June 30th, 1960. And he wasn't even at the performance because he was so nervous about it. When he came back, it had 23 curtain calls, and it was a overnight success. He was rich and famous, really, by the following day. Show ran for 6 years and set a British record, and in 1968 the film version came out, and those are the clips that we're watching, obviously, from the film version, which won 6 Academy Awards, including Best Picture.
At home, consider yourself one of the family. I've taken to you so strong, it's clear we're going to get along. Consider yourself well in. Consider yourself part of the furniture. There isn't a lot to spare. Who cares? Whatever we got we share. If it's your chance to be, we should see some harder days. Empty lot of days, white grouse. Always your chance we'll meet somebody to foot the bill. Then the drinks are on the house. Consider yourself our mate. We don't want to have no fuss. For after some consideration we can state, consider yourself one of us.
Part of the great things about this musical is that, like we said about Sound of Music, is that they're so catchy. The songs are so catchy, so singable, so simple. So Lionel Bart believed in keeping songs and lyrics simple. And he said, I never spend more than an hour on a tune. He said, songs should be like sneezes, spontaneous. A lot of the music sounds spontaneous and simple. And as we've always talked about, usually the greatest things sound simple but are really hard to imagine.
I'd do anything for you, dear. Anything for you, mean everything to me. I know that I'd go anywhere for your smile. Anywhere for your smile. Everywhere I'd see.
Would you climb a hill?
Anything,
Wear a daffodil?
anything,
Leave me all your will?
anything.
Even fight my bill?
What fisticuffs I'd risk. Everything for one kiss. Everything, yes I'd do. Anything,
Anything?
anything for you.
I'd do anything for you, dear. Anything for you, mean everything to me. I know that I'd go anywhere for your smile. Anywhere for your smile. Everywhere I'd see.
Would you lace my shoe?
Anything. Paint your face bright blue.
Anything,
Catch a kangaroo.
anything,
Go to Timbuktu.
and back again. I'd risk everything for one kiss. Everything, yes I'd do anything.
Anything?
Anything for you.
So Lionel Bart became so wealthy. He was making as much money in a minute that people made in a week, I guess was the statistic. And probably for better or worse, probably for worse, the success and money really went to his head, and he lived very hedonistically and lived in a white palace in London and entertained and just really partied. Very generous guy, but blew a lot of the money, but would entertain Noel Coward, Brian Epstein, Judy Garland, was very good friends with John Lennon and hung out with the Beatles in London. Richard Rodgers wanted to collaborate with him at one point after Oscar Hammerstein passed away, but Lionel wasn't really into that.
In this life, one thing counts. In the bank, large amounts. I'm afraid these don't grow on trees. You got to pick a pocket or two. You got to pick a pocket or two, boys. You got to pick a pocket or two.
Large amounts don't grow on trees. You gotta pick a pocket or two.
Let's show a living how to do it, my dear. Just a game, Oliver, just a game.
So Lionel said, "I'm not a composer. I just make tunes and sing them. I sing harmonies, and some of my chord progressions are not logical, but often they work. So, if it works, then it works, right? Whatever works. Doesn't always have to be logical. Sometimes the best things in life, at least for me, don't make sense, and we don't know why they don't make sense. And those are the most beautiful things sometimes."
What happens when I'm 70? Must come a time, 70, when you're old and it's cold, and who cares if you live or you die? Your one consolation's the money you may have put by. The situation I'm a bad un, and the bad un I shall stay. You'll be seeing no transformation, but it's wrong to be a rogue in every way. I don't want nobody hurt for me or made to do the dirt for me. This rotten life is not for me. It's getting far too hot for me. There is no in-between for me. But who will change the scene for me? Don't want no one to rob for me. But who will find a job for me? I think I'd better think this out again.
So he did blow all of his money and invested it in one of his musicals, Twang, which, so I guess you're never supposed to invest your own money in something. And that's what he did. And he kind of burnt out and passed away around 68, which is, you know, pretty old for a jazz musician, like we were talking about last week. But still, too bad, but enjoyed enormous success. And one of my favorite musicals. It's so catchy. It's so fun.
Papa, there's a little ditty they're singing in the city, especially when they've been on the gin or the beer. If you've got the patience, your own imaginations will tell you just exactly what you want to hear. Papa, that's how it goes. Papa, everyone knows. They all suppose what they want to suppose when they hear Papa. Mr. Percy Snodgrass would often have the odd glass, but never when he thought anybody could see. Secretly he'd buy it and drink it on the quiet and dream he was an earl with a girl on each knee.
So I hope you enjoyed Oliver. One of my favorites. Maybe you've heard some of those songs. They're really easy, singable songs. Lionel Bart was brilliant at doing that, finding those. And it goes back to Kurt Weill's Three Penny Opera a little bit that we looked at years ago. I see a little bit of influence there. But he was friends with the Beatles, and it was kind of the 60s when those kind of songs were simple, good songs that you couldn't get out of your head somehow. And obviously the Beatles did that really well, but this was musical theater, so this was a lot of fun revisiting Oliver. So tomorrow, film screening results for Bosch. Can't wait to show you that. Great rest of the day, and I'll be here tomorrow. Okay, bye.